Hey everybody, welcome to Mass Conversion. My name is Frenk Kёrn, and before we begin with the official class, I just wanted to take you on this little iPhone-made home movie. Let's go. Before we get started, I want to walk you through my home, welcome you to it, and show you where we're going to be working. So, this is where I live. Now obviously, this video was shot on an iPhone, very professional. Now there are basically three wings to this house. There's the living quarters, which I'll show you here now. I don't know if I've told you this, but I've got 3.5 children. I've got 2 little daughters, a 2-year-old son, and another daughter on the way in about 10 weeks. So we've got 5 bedrooms back here, all clustered together. Obviously, I'm not the only computer guy in the family, so these are where my daughters do their homework. And my little 2-year-old buddy gets in here, and he really doesn't read these books. He just likes to throw them on the ground and then laugh as we pick them up. But there's 5 kids' rooms back here, and then there's the master room. What's also cool about this place, it's a big old house, by the way, 12,000 something square feet, and a guest room, or guest house rather. What's also cool about this place, this little courtyard, this little fountain kind of comes on, you can sneak back out here, and there's a hidden pathway that goes down to the pool area, right through there. My kids like to kind of hide out over there. I'll take you through that in a minute. So, the rest of the house is the hangout wing, I guess, and the living wing. So every morning I wake up and 0 o'clock usually and walk down this giant hallway here. I love the high ceilings in this place. It's probably making the audio and the video be kind of crazy. But I walk down here, and this is kind of the main family room. So I know the lighting is a little bit weird, but one of the things I love about this room is it opens up completely to the outside. So this is our view. Every morning we'll kind of come in here and have coffee. Well, actually we come in here and heat up milk for my 2-year-old and then have coffee and make breakfast. But this is the outside part of the house. It's a pretty big lot here. We got a tennis court and big old yard for the kids to play in and stuff. And there's this little cabana that no one ever really hangs out in. And then there's an orchard right over there where we grow oranges and avocados, and my wife juices them every day. Water slide for the kids, which is kind of funny because that water slide's a little rough. It kind of hurts if you go down it too many times. And then here's our kitchen. This is, of course, where most of our time is spent in the home is in here, and this is a pretty fun kitchen. These great big beams and stuff in here. Really nice place. Now this is classic. I want to show you this. This is about We're about to go on an adventure together, and this is maybe the 5th time I've ever been in this room. This is our formal dining room, and we've never eaten in there. Naturally, like who ever would eat in a formal dining room? But I always thought it would be funny for me to sit like right here, and then for my wife to sit at the other end, and we get rid of all of these 16 chairs or whatever, and then, you know, I could be like, darling, could you please pass me the Grey Poupon? Here's our little wine cellar thingy. Obviously, we're not big drinkers, so if you ever come over, bring some fancy wine so we can pretend to be sophisticated. I guess we have our 1 token bottle of Cristal champagne there. I have no idea what this room is for. It's just another room that leads from the kitchen to the formal dining room. And of course, here's more kitchen action. Now, this is kind of funny. Over here, you're probably wondering why I'm showing you all this. I'll explain in a minute. All right, so this is kind of funny. When they built the house, I guess the people who built it were small, so this is the pantry where, you know, you keep all your pantry and stuff. And look, it's like a little den under here for the dude from The Hobbit. Precious, where's my ring? I think the Hobbit guy's living under there. That's what I tell my children to freak them out. All right, so onward. So this is kind of the living wing of the house, right? This is, I really don't understand the purpose of this little room. It's like a little office off the kitchen. This is where you put your kids in jail if they don't behave. So this is something we're particularly proud of. Not a lot of homes have this feature right here. This is a dead tree. I don't know why we have that in here. So as we ease on back to the hangout wing of the house, I guess you could call it, this is my wife's office, and this is where she does her work. She's a fitness model, and she sells training information online. And if you're lucky, you can find some of her videos where she walks you through how to make healthy drinks like that strawberry water. Of course, this is her. These are some of the covers she's been on over the years. Pretty cool, right? People who built the house are crazy about TVs. I think there's like 7 televisions. And they're also crazy about refrigerators, which is weird. I think there's maybe 5 refrigerators in this place, all of them empty except 2. This is the game room and the bar. Like I said, we don't really drink much, so we need to stock the bar with something, I guess pretend to be sophisticated. 3 TVs in here. Nuts. And a shuffleboard table. Because who could possibly have a complete life without a shuffleboard table, you know, and a little card table. So if you want to come play cards or something, come on with it. I'm real good at something called spoons that my daughter taught me. Had to turn on some lights there for you. Now this is pretty funny. We have a gym here in the house, which I'm sure you could likely guess I don't spend a lot of time in. Look at all of these dumbbells. You know, my wife actually uses this, being in the fitness industry. I foolishly tried to show off and pick one of these guys up one time, the 95-pounder, and successfully lifted it about 3 feet off the ground and held it at knee level, and I think I still have a little bit of a stitch in my lower back from trying that. Now this is pretty fun. This is our movie theater, which we actually use. We spend a lot of time here. Of course, the obligatory refrigerator right there. It's like refrigerator number 5. No idea why people are so crazy about refrigerators and when they build houses here. But this is the movie theater, and this is a pretty sweet theater. I like this a lot. This is about a 10-foot movie screen right here, so you can see kind of the size of it in relation to my hand, and that's pretty fun. And of course, you got your reclining chairs and the sofa-like thingies back there. So all the kids usually take up the back, and I'll sit in the front here because my eyes aren't so good, but we won't talk about that. All right, so then there's more to the place. So we come back here, let me turn these lights off. Well, you know, every big house has these fancy light systems in here where instead of having light switches, they try to drive you crazy with technology. They spend a lot of money to replace light switches on systems that work not nearly as effectively as light switches. Well, back here we have guest room number 1. I call this the Dean Jackson suite. So whenever my dear friend Dean Jackson of I Love Marketing comes, we can put him up in here. And then we have another guest room, which is probably really not that exciting, actually. So there's more to the place, believe it or not. And again, I'll explain why I'm giving you this tour of my primary residence here in a minute. But we'll go on back to the back. Come on out here. All right, there we go. So out here we have a guest house, which is pretty cool. I like having this. Now, we have never hung out in here, but in the event that family comes for extended stay, you know, this is where they can go. So I'll show you this little house. It's kind of fun. So, onward in here, and this is kind of fun. This is like a little house, you know. I could live in this. This is actually the size of my first house that I ever bought in North Carolina. So this is the guest house bedroom, or that is, rather. This has yet to ever be used. And this is the guest house living room with a little TV and your obligatory white sofas and stuff, and a little card table, and of course more refrigerators, because you've got to have refrigerators and televisions, apparently. We didn't build this house, but I'm glad that whoever did build it, I'm glad they were so considerate. Of course, we got your standard issue garage in here, which is very dark at the moment. Kind of scary. Ooh. Nothing in there. Nothing to see in the garage. Now, onward. You come out of the back of the guest house. You see this table that I had made. This is kind of cool. This is from a tree that fell on a church in Indonesia. And they salvaged it and built a table for me out of there, which is kind of neat. Here's the backyard where the kids can run around, jump on the trampoline there. I tell you, if you got kids, get a trampoline. Greatest babysitter in the world there. And then here's the tennis court. And with the mercifully short basketball goal, right? So that is essentially my home. This is where we are going to be spending our time together during this class. Well, I'm going to be working with you. Now, you might be wondering, why in the world has he taken now, however long this is, 8 or 9 minutes of your time to walk through this house? All right, well, I'll show you. I've saved that reason for last. I want to show you where we're going to be working. I want to show you the office. All right, so as we walk in and pass the award-winning dead tree, you know, the reason I haven't gotten this out of here is I don't know where the heck to put it. I mean, where do you put a big 15-foot dead tree? All right, anyway, I'll take you to my office now. All right, so up here, this is the only stairs we have in the house, and they lead to this strange tiny room. So this is part one of the office. Not a lot happens in here. No, I thought I would try to make it look as if it was a hotbed of activity, but really I just stack mail here and then ignore it. And then eventually it piles up and I have to deal with it. No idea what these little things are right here. Very strange. But now, I've just taken you on a tour of this arguably obnoxiously large house, right? And the reason I did all of that is because I want to share with you what's behind this door here in the office. Are you ready? Are you ready to see the machine that powers all of this stuff, plus another house at the beach I didn't feel like driving down to show you? Well, let's go. The entire lifestyle for myself, my family, my 3.5 children, 2 different residences here in San Diego, all of it is powered by this, by what you see in this relatively empty room. We didn't have any room for this couch here, so I just stuck it as a repository for broken old computers and Dan Kennedy training material. So everything is run from in here. This is a $200 IKEA desk. I think it might be $300. I'm trying to brag here on how fancy my desk is. That's from IKEA. I bought that in around 2009. And everything else is run off of this laptop right here, which is just hooked up to an external monitor because I don't see that well, thus the glasses, and I need a little bit bigger monitor, right? This laptop, incidentally, I bought this in 2011. So everything that I'm going to share with you is powered by this. This is it. And the reason I'm sharing with you all of this, the reason I went through all of this trouble to reveal that the entire giant 12,000 something square foot house, 4 cars, 4 kids, 2 homes, all that stuff, the reason I showed you and talked about all of that is to illustrate that it's created, maintained, and supported by this. An IKEA card table desk and a laptop from 2011. And the overriding point of all of this is that what I'm going to share with you in mass conversion is about 2 things: simplicity and systems. So the whole reason that I took you through my home, ultimately to reveal that this giant home and this great lifestyle and $50 million worth of sales and counting was generated from a laptop on a card table, is to illustrate that any belief system that you might have that you're going to need mountains of fancy equipment are completely false. And I know it's normal to think that way, right? Because it's fun to buy stuff and to get all the gizmos and everything. But the fact of the matter is, it's not necessary. I've built all of this with a laptop on this IKEA desk. This room I'm in isn't even technically a room. This is really supposed to be used for storage. All that stuff you see behind me is circuitry that controls the HVAC systems in the house. But who cares, right? So if you've got drive and ambition and the genuine desire to help other people, and equipment as fancy as a laptop from 2011 or so and an IKEA desk, then I think you have what it takes. So I wanted to make this for you to illustrate that, look, what is going to make the fortune for you is going to be in here. Your willingness to help people, your willingness to step up as a leader, your willingness to provide value, and it's going to be in here, which is going to be your adherence to proven models and systems. Technology and gizmos don't make fortunes, right? It's models, it's systems, and it's heart, and it's brains, and it's good old-fashioned hard work. So here's how this class is going to work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to emulate as best I can the experience of you being here with me and me kind of being over your shoulder and showing you stuff on the computer. So I've decided to abandon any fanciness and any fanfare in favor of simplicity. That's why I shot that video with the iPhone. That's why I'm making this video for you on the little built-in eyesight camera that you saw, or maybe you noticed it. It's on that little external monitor there from the video that I shot just a second ago with the tour of the home and everything. So the way it's going to work is I take every little step from each chunk of this methodology, and I'm going to break it down into about a 15, sometimes 30-minute video, and each video is usually going to have an exercise with it. The reason we're doing that is because if you just watch that video, let's just say it's 30 minutes, at the longest, right? Usually they're not even that long. So if you just watch a 30-minute video and then you take maybe 15 minutes to do the exercise, boom, you've actually built a part of your asset in a total of 45-minute period. Whereas other courses might have you watch hours and hours of videos and you never get anything done because you get overwhelmed. So I've specifically built this to be low tech, low complexity, high results, right? High levels of productivity. So the system is essentially comprised of three fundamental pillars. Pillar number one is the attraction of leads into your database, right? Pillar number two is the conversion of those leads into initial customers, making that first purchase. Pillar number three is going to be the ascension of those customers into repeat buyers, into higher ticket buyers, into long-term buyers. That's really, those three pillars are what powers every business in the world. So we're going to focus on those fundamentals because that's where the money is. And then within each of those fundamentals, I'm going to be showing you psychological methodology that it causes you to be positioned as a celebrity, to be positioned as an authority, to build that massive goodwill with your marketplace, and to genuinely help people and make tons of sales in the process. So right now, we are in Module 1, and the focus of this week's training is to create the magnets, to create the bait with which you will attract your ideal customer. And we're going to do this under the assumption and really under the knowledge of a classic phrase here. The phrase is, you can't catch whales using minnow bait, and you can't catch whales fishing in a minnow pond. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to determine what is a whale. And I'm going to define a whale as being your ideal perfect customer, your perfect client. Once we've determined that person, then we're going to find out the perfect bait with which we can use to attract them. And then we're also going to find out the best places to find these people. So that's what we're going to do here in this week. Now, this week is relatively simple. As we progress through the class, our weights get a little heavier, right? So if you feel like we're going too slow in this week, listen, don't worry about that. Just do the exercises, because next week and the following weeks, we're going to increase that weight metaphorically. So we're going to get stronger and stronger, right? So without any further ado, why don't we officially begin the class? And before I do that, let me take a minute to really thank you for your commitment to doing this. Listen, the fact that you signed up for this, knowing full well that it's all about creating value, it's all about building goodwill, and it's all about genuinely helping people, really says something about you. It says you're dramatically different from your competitors and from just about everybody else in the marketplace as the business marketplace globally, right? So many companies are just in it for the profit. And yeah, sure, we are too. But you can turn a tremendous profit while changing a lot of lives and genuinely helping people. And man, when you do that, you have planted the seeds for long-term success that are almost impossible to eradicate, right? So let's go ahead and get started. This concludes this introductory video. I look forward to seeing you rather, in the next video, where I'm going to take you to the computer and we're going to start talking about who your ideal prospect is and the best sources to find them. Once we've done that, we're going to create the bait, that is your bribes, that free solution information that we're going to offer to get them. And then next week, we're going to build the machine that actually converts them into email subscribers and converts them into initial buyers, some of them anyway, and then the ones who don't become initial buyers we'll follow up with through campaigns to turn them into initial buyers and then to long-term buyers. So we're going to have a lot of fun on this journey together. If you stick with me, you're going to do well. If you just do the exercises, man, you cannot beat this. This stuff really, really works. So I look forward to taking this journey with you, and I hope that you will be kind enough to share with me what your experiences are as we go through it. Thanks again so much, and I'll see you in the next video.